Fallout Season 2 is introducing some very interesting concepts about the relationship between goodness and power. When we think we're a quote-unquote good person, is that because we're upholding what is truly right? Or what those who have power over us have conditioned us to uphold? This is Lindsay's Fallout, where I cross-reference the ideas in Fallout lore with our very real world. As usual, it's gonna be full of spoilers, and I'm gonna moralize about lessons that we should take into real life. So here's your chance to bail if you're not interested in that sort of thing, because whoo, boy howdy did this episode, Season 2, Episode 2, trigger the shit out of me. And I don't mean triggered in like a cute, trendy internet slang, like it got on my nerves so I'm gonna say I'm triggered. I mean like, no. This episode took me to heartbreaking, devastating, life-pivoting events of my past, and tossed me into a fight-or-flight state. I mean triggered for reals. While the Brotherhood of Steel storyline absolutely backs up the theme I want to talk about today, I cannot make a video as long as the one that I made last week, so we're just gonna focus on Lucy with a side of Norm, but mostly Lucy because I am so mad at Lucy right now. Don't worry, I still love her. You can be mad at people and still love them. And I certainly still love the show, because judging by the fact that the choices that Lucy made here directly put her in the hands of the Legion, I'm pretty sure the show's on my side. Girl's gonna have some consequences, and they're not gonna be good. In the beginning, it just seemed so unfair that the Ghoul didn't trust Lucy, didn't it? I mean, she is so nice and good. She is a good person who is so nice, right? He sold her to organ harvesters, but she still gave him all that serum because she is so nice. As if niceness is the highest possible value we should all strive to attain. Well, the way that she's treated him the first 2 episodes of this season make it pretty clear that his instinct not to trust her was probably the right one. First, let's roll it back and review some stuff that happened in Season 1. Yes, the Ghoul did some shitty things to her, but it's important that we look at those things within the greater context. Yes, he dunked her into the water, but he wasn't doing it to torture her. He was using her as bait for the Gulper. And when that attempt to get the artifact failed, yes, he tied her up and kidnapped her, and sure, when she was begging for water, he drank his water right in front of her, didn't offer any, and even dumped a little bit of it out. But she finds out right after that the water that he was drinking was poisonous for her. When she drinks the irradiated water, she does it based on her own informed choice. She didn't just take what was handed to her. And yeah, then he took her to sell her to organ harvesters. But like I pointed out in a previous video, from his perspective, he wasn't taking her out of safety and putting her in danger. He was taking her from one dangerous situation where she was gonna have to figure her shit out to putting her in a different dangerous situation where she was gonna have to figure her shit out. And what do you know? She figured her shit out. It's funny looking back and seeing what I said about rad scorpions in that video. The risks inside aren't inherently worse than those outside, just different. Inside, Lucy faces captors who feel entitled to own her. But outside, there are rad scorpions. We haven't seen them yet, but they're out there. And right after the Ghoul delivered her to Super Duper Mart, he passed out, which tells us he was on his last leg. He was going to an extreme for his survival at that point, not just being a dick. In Fallout, there's a game mechanic called karma. When you do morally questionable things, the game will tell you if the choice resulted in a loss of karma. I take that mechanic with me into real life. If I do something I'm not proud of, I'm like, guess I'm taking the karma hit on that one. And the more limited your resources are, the less leeway you have to be goody two-shoes, and the more karma hits you're gonna have to take. Which is why it is obnoxious when someone who has never had to take a karma hit in their life bolsters themselves as morally superior. The vibe kind of reminds me of that Eminem lyric when he's like, Will Smith doesn't have to cuss to sell records. Well, I do, so fuck him and fuck you too. Even after making an ass of herself in Vault 4, she still seems to think that she is God's gift to the fucking Wasteland. And yes, I know it takes more than just one life event to expect that kind of growth, but I can still be mad anyway. So Season 2, the latest episode at the time of this recording, Lucy is given the Ghoul shit for not being nice. Here's your wokeonomics vocab word for the day. That's a form of tone policing. Okay, for most of my life, before I knew terms like that, something I thought about all the time so angry is, why is my anger toward being mistreated a bigger problem than the mistreatment that made me angry? If you think it's safe to be nice all the time, then you're privileged, and if you're privileged, you have power. And if you're telling somebody who's had a way shittier deal that they should be nice and more civil and more polite, then you don't grasp the conditions that have made them not so nice. And maybe the reason that the Ghoul isn't so nice to her is because she has proved him right about not trusting her by mistreating him. How? Well, the very first scene in Season 2, she betrays him. They had made an agreement, they had made an arrangement that she was going to shoot that rope, and she decided to get uppity on her nice high horse and broke that agreement. She broke trust between them when she did that. And I wish I could give her credit for being brave, but brave involves overcoming fear, and she didn't feel the proportional amount of fear because she didn't fully grasp how much danger she was in, because if she had, she wouldn't have tried to pull what she tried to pull, which didn't work, did it? Maybe the ghoul isn't just a dick. Maybe he actually knows stuff that she doesn't know. Maybe he knows what he's talking about when he says it's not safe to try to solve this one with diplomacy. Pro tip, y'all. Betraying someone who is counting on you is not goodness. And she's about to betray him with her uppity ideals again. She hears somebody calling for help, and those of us who play Fallout games already know that this is probably not good. People in the Wasteland who really need help don't call for help because they don't know if the help that's coming isn't gonna be even worse than whatever it is they need help from. It's almost always somebody trying to lure some nice person into a trap. And the ghoul knows that, so that's why he wants to keep on walking. But no, Lucy's a hero. The ghoul did not want to go in there. He went in there to look after her, and he told her, people in tunics bad. And if you played Fallout New Vegas, you know, people in tunics bad. But they get in the scuffle with the rad scorpions. I'll always be happy to see a good old-fashioned homage to aliens. And Lucy sees the ghoul, slit that Legion guy's throat, and used the wounded Legion female as a human shield. I shouldn't be laughing, but it is kind of funny. But you know, Fallout funny. And Lucy's got one stim pack, and she's got to make a choice, one of those tricky little choices. Give it to her not nice, cannibalistic traveling companion, or the wounded woman that her companion just used as a shield. And she chooses the wounded woman, and this particular choice I don't hold against her. Her reasoning was sound, and I think in the game I would have made the same choice. She needs it to survive, and he's a resilient motherfucker who is likely to survive without it. But after she did this, she should have gotten the ghoul to somewhere safe and did the Ellie Last of Us thing. Go find another stim pack for the man. Don't walk off with the Legion woman. Bad move. She already did the nice good person thing by giving her the stim pack. Good for you. Why would you be more loyal to this stranger that you know nothing about? You know nothing about the organization that she is a part of. You have no idea what you're walking into. Then your traveling companion, who only went in there to back up your naive ass and told you the people in tunics are bad news, and to date has never lied to you. Why don't people like the ghoul trust people like Lucy? Because why should they? Why don't people like social justice warriors? Because they constantly choose their oversimplified interpretations of lofty moral ideals to strengthen their self-aggrandizing view of themselves as a quote-unquote good person over the well-being of the people right in front of them. Lucy didn't march off with the Legion woman to protect the Legion woman. She did it to protect her ego, which is entirely tied to her definition of what a quote-unquote good person is, and the ghoul's behavior constantly threatens that. He has never been a threat to her. I mean, by Fallout standards, he's never been a threat to her. He is only a threat to the ideas that she feels like she needs to hang on to survive. Some of you might be thinking, but Lindsay, this isn't fair. You're only saying this because you know what the Legion is. Lucy didn't know, and she can't be held responsible for what she didn't know. Haha, that's cute. I'm not saying that she should have known. I'm saying she should have figured out by now that she doesn't know everything. And by the way, the idea that not knowing something absolves you of consequences is a very privileged perspective. 'Cause like, for the rest of the world, taking the consequences for stuff that you didn't know is how you know stuff. That's where learning comes from. And Lucy should have learned there's stuff she doesn't know, and that her preconceived notions can be false from Vault 4. But, looks like she's got more learning to do, and learn she shall. You may also be thinking, well, maybe Lucy would have made a different choice if the ghoul had explained to her the full context of who the Legion is. Huh, that is also cute. He didn't explain to her why he wasn't giving her the irradiated water either. You wanna know why? Let me tell you what I've learned in 40 years, that I'm sure that the ghoul has learned dozens of times over in 200. People like Lucy don't listen. She still trusts her Vault-Tec programmed moral compass more than him. He's not gonna bother talking. He's not gonna bother wasting his breath until that changes. And that segues us to our next topic, programmed ideas of goodness. Most of us were programmed with the belief that goodness is obedience. In other words, being nice. We weren't given the option to decline our homework assignments. We were supposed to do what our parents said because they said so, right? And if we did, we were what? Good kids. This was the criteria for the Buds Buds program. So let's kick this party back to my man Norm. In the last video, I said Lucy was the first to leave the vault physically, but Norm was the first to leave the vault psychologically. So when he wakes up everybody in Vault 31, he knows they're not going to respond well to the truth. He's not going to lay it all out for them. Vault-Tech's betrayal, that they're all participants in something hideous, lecture them on the error of their ways. No, he decides to lie to them. He decides to take a karma hit and speak to them in a language that they understand. Wasteland. Hierarchy. These Vault 31 babies are absolutely helpless without the power structure they've been programmed with. They're operating under the cultural myth that if you're good and obedient and you work hard and you pay your dues, then one day, instead of getting bossed around, you'll be the boss. Taking the abuse is fine as long as you get to pay it forward, right? Just like how Thaddeus kicked Maximus's ass because when he was new, his ass got kicked. That's how the real world works, right? People who need you to take their shit sell you on the idea that one day you'll be the one giving shit. But here's why it's a myth. You never get to the top where you don't have a boss anymore, you just have a different boss. That's why Stephanie's so fucking miserable. She's finally at the top, she's finally an overseer. But no, now she has to listen to Davy's stupid shit. Elder Quintus said it best, power isn't given, it's taken. Being nice and obedient only teaches people that they can count on you to be nice and obedient. The people who run shit didn't honorably pay their dues, they just announced that they deserved it. Just like Norm did. If you say with your full chest, you should follow me, people will believe you. And if you would never do that without being certain that you have the qualifications to do so, that might make you a good person, but it won't make you a powerful one. And that's why this episode is so triggering and depressing for me. Norm lies to and manipulates people to get out of Vault 31, and it works. And it makes sense that it works. But when the Ghoul gives Lucy freedom of choice and doesn't lie to her, she takes that freedom and betrays and abandons him. Once again, shiny lies win over ugly truth. Those who are willing to cross moral lines that hugely exceed mere karma hits, overpower people physically, psychologically, or neurologically, dictate the course of humanity, because when humans are shown the truth and given a choice, they make the wrong one. When Lucy's captured by the Legion, she says, "I'm nice." Just like how in Vault 4 she said, "I'm a good person." Lucy still hasn't figured out that being nice and being good aren't the same thing. If you, person watching this, if you think you're a good person, but you have never had to be brave to be good, you don't know if you're a good person yet. You just know you haven't transgressed your overlords. If you have never risked consequences from forces more powerful than you in the name of goodness, you are just obedient and nice. So what the hell is goodness then? For starters, goodness is in the capacity to evolve your understanding of what goodness is. That's the kind of goodness that Lucy appeared to be after she left Vault 4, and I want to see that girl again. And the bravery it takes to do that is lonely, because most people won't go with you, and a few will actively hate you for showing them what they believe they can never be, but they can. Mark my words, everyone can be a little more brave. Your body, brain, neurotype may dictate how afraid you are, but not your resolve to step across that fear. So here's hoping Lucy steps across the fear that she's not as prepared to spread goodness across the wasteland as she needs to believe she is. Because she's not, and she never will be if she doesn't confront that.
If you have to go out, take a gun and a lamp, 'cause everybody knows there's a devil in camp. Ow!